Hello, everybody. I'm here to talk about the future of Crusader Kings 3. I've been playing Crusader Kings for a while now, since the launch of Crusader Kings 2. I've been pretty much addicted to it. I think we can all say those DLCs are a little bit overpriced, but we keep buying them. Except for this new one. I haven't really bought the new one yet because I realized that $30 for a region, probably not that good. Anyways, besides all that. Let's talk about what my opinion of the future for Crusader Kings 3 should look like. We've had a lot of DLCs more focused on RP and focused on court politics and things like that. But let's talk about what everybody here really wants to see. And I'm going to also add something that's super far left field, so stay tuned for that. We really want to see changes to the Byzantine Empire and empires in general. When you play Crusader Kings 3, or Crusader Kings in general, you can play as a county. So as a small little count, you can play as someone like Napoli. You work your way up, you have a cool story, you assassinate, you murder, you seduce, you claim, all the way to becoming emperor of, say, the entire Italia region. You end up conquering all that. Maybe you can even go to the Byzantine Empire. But once you're emperor, that's pretty much it. It just becomes a map painting game. And I know we all love map painting, but it can get a little dull. And especially if you want to be expanding. So maybe make it to where what I would like in the future is more RP focused court politics. In the Rajas of Asia and Great Empire area, they have the Senate tab. And a mod maker made this, so it's good, but paradox backing could make the Senate and things like that. Maybe add like some sort of Praetorian Guard like that function. Maybe if you create your own empire, the first Empire of Britannia, you create your own Praetorian Guard, you create your own companies like that. Something that'll keep politics more alive. Usually in CK2, if you can, the Byzantine Emperor, the only thing you'd have to worry about is creating loyal kings and not having a revolt every 20 years. But in Crusader Kings 3, you become Emperor, it's so easy and it's over. Like, you can start conquering people near you, but once you start steamrolling, can't really do anything else. So maybe increasing, I wouldn't say the difficulty, but changing it up to where holding an empire is just a lot more fun. Now, people get confused over challenging and fun. If you want something to be challenging, they should add more challenge to the game in other places. But I think what you should do is becoming an emperor should be harder. But once you're emperor, it should just be fun. Just if the game's not fun, why bother, right? Maybe more events, new Senate stuff, playing politics, having to deal with your children. I think more children, family focused type of event. I know they tried to do that with Wards and Wardens, but that was a DLC you had to pay for. You didn't really do anything much besides that. You spent all that money and you ended up having what, maybe 30, 40 events that add like two dialogue options? No, we don't want that. Something that can just be focused where the Empire is just more realistic. And I think another fun thing you could do here is in Crusader Kings 2, they had mercenary companies. Now, Crusader Kings 2, they did a pretty, I mean, it's interesting. You have a mercenary company that you can end up having and creating, and you provide resources to them, and they get stronger. You can even make like a brother. Like I can make Marinus Macedon and CK2 into a mercenary leader, and then boom, you have them as a mercenary company. I think it would be a lot cooler in Crusader Kings 3 if you make it more focused on, because the mercenary system in Crusader Kings 3 is much to be desired. Like, you hire these guys, boom, you have them for 3 years. That's it. At least in Crusader Kings 2, if you lose money, they could just turn on you. That was fun. That was at least interesting. It's annoying, but you'd have to be aware of your money. Crusader Kings 3, it doesn't matter at all. Mercenary companies are just, if you have the money, you just boom, 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 you hire all of them. That's not fun. More interaction with mercenaries. I mean, shoot, and the entire country of of Switzerland was established over this mercenary companies and things like that. Their whole country was born out of people finding out these guys are really good at fighting, so let's hire these guys out. Their like, cultural identity is based off of mercenaries. Mercenaries were a big thing in the world, and they're still used today. And there's we have realistic threats of mercenary companies that could, oh, you didn't pay them enough, they're going to march on your capital. I mean, we saw that in 2023. I mean, they weren't really going to do it in Russia, but they could have. But it's just interesting. Mercenary companies could have a lot more flavor to them. And the papacy as well. Papacy needs flavor to it, guys. The College of Cardinals is barely a thing in Crusader Kings 3. Uh, papacy was one of the most influential, not one of the most politically influential person in all of Western Europe. And it's barely looked upon. Holy Fury had a little bit of edited to it, to where like at least the Crusades were somewhat fixed in Holy Fury. That was kind of fun. The Crusades in CK3 are kind of the same, but I mean the AI just ends up going up to India, so it doesn't really matter. More flavor events, stuff like that would be cool with the Pope. An entire reworked papal system, I think, would be fun. If you guys have any recommendations on how to fix the papal system or anything like I mentioned, mercenaries or anything, write down in the comments. I really like genuinely are like I want to know your opinions, especially with that of my subscribers and everything like that. One last thing I would like for them to add to CK from CK2 to Crusader Kings 3 was great works. Great works were these things in CK2 where it would take generations to build them, and each like the pyramids of Giza, like they have these special buildings. That's it. But pyramids of Giza, you could like add to them, like make them even better. The lighthouse of Alexandria was, I think was, are the ruins of lighthouse of Alexandria. What if you wanted to rebuild it? What if you decided to build tall here, and you decided to, or in like in Crete, you decided to build tall in Crete, so uh, you decided to make a big lighthouse and a big trade empire. You could do that in CK2. You can turn, if this was tribal, you can turn into a merchant thing. Which, by the way, CK3 can't even play as the merchants. Like, what? Come on, guys. Anyways, you want to turn this into a big, like, economic boom powerhouse? Great works. Build a lighthouse. Build a great harbor. That stuff was really cool. I loved great work systems. You'd have a reason to keep playing for longer than like 4 generations. And my favorite thing to do in Crusader Kings 2 was naming the monuments based off the ruler, like off of their RP. Like, oh, the Grand Library of Leonard the 18th, something like that. That was fun. And my last thing, this one's going to be far out of left field, but there was a mod in Crusader Kings 2. Hopefully they added Crusader Kings 3. But I don't think they'll add this in like an actual thing. But I'm also using the Rajas of Asia submod, by the way, to add Japan and stuff. That would be a cool thing for them to add all this, but it's really laggy. Anyway, what they should add is the Rags to Riches gameplay in that. Make it a hardcore mode, make it whatever. Make it that it's just fun. You play as a nobody peasant, and you work your way up to becoming a count, and then you play CK Crusader Kings normally. That was fun. I did like that mod a lot. I would always start somewhere here in like Switzerland or somewhere in Spain and become a mercenary, fight in the gladiatorial pits, and then work your way up to get the money to pay for a castle, and then you can literally start rags to riches, and the next thing you know, you're Holy Roman Emperor, and you remember, well, my great-great-great-grandfather was a cobbler. Stuff like that would been fun. I loved if they could add just better like generals. Generals were super important. Like Roman times, they were the most important people. But even during the medieval age, like your general was super important to have. They have like the knight system, but it there's much to be desired in the knight system. Let's be honest here, especially with the accolades. Now, if knights could be some sort of like reworked intrigue system to where you can turn a general and he spawns with like a bunch of troops that are loyal to him, but is you paid him enough money now he wants to fight for you, that would be interesting. That'd be very interesting. Maybe just reworking supply lines, adding the Silk Road was very interesting in that time. Technology, I feel like technology could be reworked a little bit. The innovations, instead of just clicking a button, maybe make a little bit more RP for it, because these are just like stat bonuses. I just think it'd be cool if you could add some sort of like urbanization. It just increases development. Can we do a little bit more with that, maybe? Maybe urbanization. Maybe you can create city sprawls. Maybe you have to worry about population growth, population booms if your country's doing so well. Stuff like that. Um, don't make it too stat sheety. Don't make it too like I have to work a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet in order to run Yoshida over here. Maybe right over here I just want to be a Khan and just take stuff out. The Mongol Empire was very complicated in how they ran things. I think having reworked great empires could be a part of that. Maybe change up the Mongol Empire, stuff like that. I just think it would be Crusader Kings 3 has the potential to being one of the best roleplay games you can ever have, and the best strategy game that Paradox has made. Stellaris has amazing RP events, and you can still play the game as a grand strategy game. Stellaris is, I still think, is Paradox's best grand strategy game in terms of RP mixed with gameplay. Nothing's better than creating a whole culture of people and growing with them and learning with them and doing everything else, fighting the great hordes of aliens together in Stellaris. Crusader Kings 3 can do that in terms of making culture a little bit more important, making your people important. I do like what they did with hybrid cultures with this DLC, but maybe just adding a little bit to it. I'm not necessarily saying a little bit more pop-ups, just more flavor. Keep me invested. Crusader Kings 2, I was super invested. Let's try to get to that level. If you guys have any more recommended things you can add, let me know. If you really like the Great Works, if you want to see them again, comment. If you hated Great Works, comment. If you think you should be able to play as Japan without playing in a mod, let me know. I really want to see your opinions. Alright guys. Peace.